guys, what's going on, and welcome back to What Shall We Do Next. And today I wanted to do something a little different. I think it's the first time ever that I've actually done this on my channel, but I'm going to be doing a book review. Literally never read a book in my life. I think I've read successfully about 3 books in my entire life. That includes Cat in the Hat. But if you guys remember, a couple of months ago, I made a video talking about a movie that I watched on Netflix called All the Bright Places, and that movie, oh my god, I'm gonna cry right now just thinking about it. It was so sad, and just like, it was all about like mental health, I guess, and like 2 teenagers who are both struggling with different types of mental illness, I guess, or one of them is like living with depression induced by her sister who died in a car accident, and then the boy that she meets, Finch, is struggling with, it doesn't specify, but it's like bipolar or something like that. Like he really struggles a lot more than Violet does, and they meet and create this unlikely friendship. I loved that movie so much. I cried so hard toward the end, that I actually watched it again 2 more times after that. I watched it the very next day, and then a few days later I watched it again, and it was just such a, I don't know, it's like an emotional roller coaster. It was relatable in so many ways. I thought the movie itself was just great. However, my friend told me that I was talking to her about it. I was like, have you seen that movie on Netflix? And she was like, no, but I've heard about, there's a book called that. And I was like, oh, wow, I gotta see this. So I looked it up. There is a book, and the movie was based on the book. The movie came out in 2020. The book came out 2016. I decided to buy the book, so I did right here, All the Bright Places. It even says right there, Netflix, a Netflix film, and right there in the top corner, I don't know if you guys can see that, it says, the story of a girl who learns to live from a boy who wants to die. And I really like the theme of the book. Like, I'm not a reader at all. I hate books. I can't get into books. But I really wanted to see, because I love the movie so much, I really wanted to see what the differences were in the book. Like, I know a lot of people always say, well, the book's better. Shut the fuck up, okay? It's not rivalry. It's like cats and dogs. Everybody has preferences. Some people are a dog person. Some people are a cat person. Some people are a movie person. Some people are a book person. To me, I would rather watch a movie, because the movie, it's done and over with in 2 hours maximum. A book, it's a commitment, man. You gotta like commit to that shit for the next couple of weeks, at least in my case. But I really like, what I will talk about is the cover here. It's got some things on here which are relatable to the movie, such as like, well, for a start, it's like the theme is like those post-it notes, and they are a very important part of the movie and the books. There is post-it notes, which Finch uses for, I won't give any spoilers out, but if you haven't seen the movie or read the book, you should definitely do both. It also says right here, you know how it's like New York's Time bestseller and stuff like that? It's got right here at the top, this book is amazing, I couldn't put it down. And that was a quote from Zoe Sugg, Zoella on YouTube. Who would have thought? But one thing I wanted to mainly talk about, I thought the book was amazing, by the way. I'm definitely going to read it again. But one thing I wanted to talk about was the differences mainly between the movie and the book. And in the movie, there's a couple things I noticed that were different. For a start, the character Finch was a black guy. In this, it kind of describes him as this like really pale, kind of an emo guy with like long black hair. He's really pale skin, and he has always got like different personalities all the time, which Finch in the movie didn't really do. He just kind of seemed to be Finch. He was different. He stood out as a different person, but he was just Finch. But in the book, it focused more on, he was like, he would have a different outfit for like a different character that he would be, and he would have like a British accent sometimes, or sometimes he would have an Australian accent, then he would go back to an American accent, and he was just like constantly changing who he was as a character. Like, he didn't really know who the real Finch was, so every now and then he would put on a character to play. He would also give these characters names like American Finch, or British Finch, or Australian Finch, or like cool guy Finch. 1980s Finch was another one. Like, he would have like the leather jacket and the back combed hair and stuff like that. So he created these characters because he never really knew who he was. I also should mention the book was written by Jennifer Niven, just throwing that out there. I'm not a book reviewer, so I don't really know what they do. Another thing that was different was in the movie, they meet while Violet is standing on the edge of a bridge, and Finch is out one night on a stroll or a walk or something, or a run. I think he was running at the time, and he happens to come across Violet, and she's standing on the ledge of this bridge contemplating committing suicide. She's waiting to like jump into it. You can see she's just kind of thinking, and he comes up behind her, manages to talk her out of it. But in the book, they meet at the top of a bell tower at school, and they are both thinking about committing suicide. That's how they happen to meet each other. They're both up there at the same time, and the school sees them up there, and they're like, whoa, look, it's Finch, the freak, and Violet Markey. What's she doing up there? Because in the book, it makes her sound like she's like a cool girl, but in the movie, she kind of came across as a little more like the timid, shy, quiet, nerdy girl. But the way they get around this, like with the school kids seeing them, is even though Finch came up after Violet, he makes out like Violet was there to save his life. So she was then known around school as a hero, and he was still known as Finch the Freak, who always wants to commit suicide. There was a lot of differences in the book when it came to like the wanderings of Indiana and the places they would go, but there was like some extra ones, I would say, in the book than there was in the movie. I'm so glad they kept the ones of like the tree with the shoes on it, or the roller coaster, the mini roller coaster. There was a couple more in the book that wasn't actually in the movie, and like the place where they had their first kiss and stuff like that was actually in a parking lot, and in the movie it was like at a cross junction, like a crossroads in the middle of nowhere, just fields. And I like that they changed some things, but most of the book and the movie was very similar, and I love that they kept like the quotes from the movie, or the movie kept the quotes from the book. Because that was some of my favorite parts of the movie, was some of the quotes. One of my other favorite parts of this book is at the end, there is like a whole different story about the author herself and her experience with like suicide and depression and this and that. And this book was actually based on somebody that she once knew and loved. And it was something that she had dealt with in her life that she'd never spoken about until making this book. And I thought it was, even reading the author's story herself was really heartbreaking to me. And it just shows like how important it is to speak up about, depression and things like that. But overall, the book was amazing. The movie was amazing. It's definitely not going to be the last time I will read that book, and it's definitely not going to be the last time I'll watch the movie. But that's pretty much all I have to say. The book was great. If you are a reader and you're looking for something new to read, I definitely recommend it if you want to read it. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. So smash the like on the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out and chase your dreams.